This is episode 6 of the Arts Academy podcast with Victor Varnado and Roxxy Haze. Making your first feature with special guest Heather Fink. Heather Fink, Heather Fink, I met Heather in the stand-up comedy world. And Heather and I both are comedians who also do filmmaking. So that's why I feel a particular kinship to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I no longer perform stand-up anymore, but yes, I did. And filmmaking full-time now. That's
great. I would say I'm a full-time producer, but I still perform stand-up a lot too. Because I don't know, it's just part of who I am. Yeah. I can't not do it, you know. I get it. I miss it. I absolutely miss it. But now, Heather, you actually did your first feature. Was it like 5 years ago or 4 years ago?
Exactly 5 years ago. Yes.
5 years ago. Okay. So now, when you did your first feature, you went through the whole gambit of things. You went through Kickstarter. You went through making your feature. You went through festivals. If you could just tell us your story of your feature, and I'll ask questions along the way, but just tell us how you do it. Oh, wait. It was called Inside You?
Yeah, I actually have the poster right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for free on YouTube now. It was on iTunes and Amazon Prime and all that stuff, but now it's just free on YouTube. I did that at the start of the pandemic. It's just
where is it? Where is it free?
Just on YouTube. It's on YouTube, the full movie, Inside You, full movie, totally free, because it was never international before. I had it in English-speaking territories, and then, I don't know, I had a crappy distributor, so I was like, you know what, I don't want to put up with any more of this. It's been out on the internet, or it was on streaming services for 2 years, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make it free internationally. It had some press, and so I had people in all these random countries. I could never get it in Australia because they have a crazy rating system, and so now for those people who've been writing to want to see the movie, they can finally see it. So boom, free for everyone.
So if you can tell us just maybe even from how did the concept come about. I'm just going to put the trailer in the background a little bit.
Yeah, and I acted in it, and that was not something I wanted to do. I do not recommend acting and directing. However, it helped get it made more cheaply. One of the most important messages, because we're talking about how to do things affordably, I think it's really important for people to understand how expensive and prohibitive this industry can be so that they're forgiving with themselves. For example, if you don't come from privilege or money, it's just going to take you longer to make it. And so be kind to yourself. Some people get lucky earlier without privilege and wealth, but it is rare. This industry is really fueled by being related to someone and being born into it and being born wealthy. It really truly is. So things just may take longer if you don't have that. I actually
know somebody who makes movies for under $1,000. They make features. I mean, it takes them forever, but they do it.
Yeah, so this movie, I can talk very frankly and openly about the money. I own the movie outright. I had no investors. I wanted investors. There's a lot of things I wanted for this movie that didn't happen, but I just made it. And what's really great, I guess, is that I did finally get my second feature with other people's money, because I made a vow that this would be the last thing that I use my own money on. And when I say my own money, I mean my paychecks from working as a sound person, stuff that it wasn't some sort of inherited wealth. It was just me working, going directly into the movie. This movie was funded, it was $30,000 from Kickstarter, $20,000 from my personal credit cards, and then the rest of it was me working as a sound person. I put, I guess, about $50,000 of me, because it went over, of course, in the marketing and then the editing and everything. So it was $120,000, the movie.
Wow. So
the rest of it was me working. That a few days after we wrapped the feature, I started working full-time on the TV show Daredevil season 2, and those paychecks I just put right. I had low rent, so I was able to, and I was a union sound person at the time, so it was well paying, but I just threw it all into finishing the movie. But the thing is, that movie was expensive it was expensive compared to other things I'd shot. No one's first filmmaking endeavor should be a feature. You should be making shorts, and you should be making as much content as you can, as cheaply as you can, for as long as you can until you're ready. And what I had done before that in the
I wholeheartedly agree with that, by the way.
I know you're on the same page with that. In the aughts, in my 20s, I was a stand-up comedian, and then on nights and weekends I would perform, and then I would shoot funny videos and upload them to YouTube, and they would go viral. And then the economic crash happened in '08. And then I went to film school. I applied to one. There were no more day jobs. So I went to NYU's grad film program. I applied to the one. I got in. It was my dream. I had printed out the application for years, but couldn't afford it. And so finally, I just became a person that lived off of student loans. And that's what I did. And then while I was there, I wanted to find another way to, put food on the table. So I saw that the sound person made the most money, and I was like, okay, that'll keep me on set. I'll be essential and it'll pay the bills. So I started doing sound for much longer than I thought I would. It's been a decade of that as my day job. And I made proper short films within the film school world, like, things that were bigger budget, but I also had access to NYU's arsenal of professional film equipment and using my fellow classmates as the film crew. And there was some cachet with it too, so people were willing to work with you, from actors to crew. And then I was determined to make my first feature, which was very rocky, the whole experience of making it and putting it out there. It did not get into big festivals. That broke my heart. It didn't a lot of things. I couldn't get a name executive producer on board, which I did try to do. I couldn't get name actors, which I did try to do. I actually did have actors that were more accomplished that I cast in it as the two leads or more well-known, had more cachet. I flew them out from LA, and one of the actors had a personal thing happen. So I lost thousands of dollars on that. And then a few months later, I was just like, I've got to get this movie done. I decided to act in it myself because I would save money, and I used to be in front of the camera. And that was hard. And it's funny because I want to work with the same cinematographer on my next feature. And we were talking to each other, and I was like, and won't it be so great? I won't be acting anymore. It'll be so exciting. We can really focus on the cinematography together. Like, it'll be a much more enjoyable collaboration. Because, I really just didn't look at playback after a while. We needed to get through our day. So I really didn't see it until it was in the can. And I'm not a person who likes to look at dailies or like the footage after that. I like to I want to get my rough assembly and deal with it there. That's just a personal preference. It might not be smart because you want to see what you have. But emotionally, I don't know if I can take seeing it like, okay, this is what you did, live with it. But that aside, I got the movie done. We got it shot. We had a lot of weird bad luck along the way, but I got it done. I am happy with the movie's heart, like what it has to say, and that I think it captures my sense of humor. I made this script first because I had written 2 or 3, which one? There was the heartbreak feature, the sci-fi comedy. This is the third feature I wrote. The first one was about heartbreak, which I thought as a topic was a harder sell because we've seen a lot of that from female filmmakers, and it's about something negative. The second one was a sci-fi comedy that was about an internet apocalypse. I'd still love to make it. It still holds up in today's world, but it was just too expensive. And so I never got investors. I mean, I had people I met with all kinds, like as a woman filmmaker, the kind of men who tell you they want to invest and they don't, and they just want to have someone to go out to dinner with. I mean, it's very irritating. Anyway, and then that happened many times.
I believe it.
Yeah. And then the body switching movie, that's what it is. It's about a couple that switches bodies after a magic night together. And I just thought this is mostly one location and 2 actors, and it's all in their performance. So I can afford to do this movie. So because it was the most affordable concept that I had, that's why it was the first thing that I made. And it also explores my personal fears of marriage. So it's about something. And it takes a unique look at gender roles. Oh, Kitty cameo. Yeah. So I learned so much from doing things that I would have done so differently that I would never do that way again. But again, I made the movie. I vowed that I would never direct with my own money again, only other people's money. And lo and behold, every single year, at least one project landed on my table. it had all been indies up till this point. I was supposed to get on a plane and shoot my next feature in Oklahoma right before the pandemic happened. So I was about to level up, and it's just gonna take a little longer. But
so the thing that you're going to shoot in Oklahoma, that was actually for like with a studio or with just like a large production company?
A small production company called Imoto Films that are LA and Vancouver based. They're female run. I finally found out what I'm allowed to say publicly, and it's a romantic thriller, which I'm psyched about because that's the genre that everyone watches. So it makes me happy to make, because my first feature is a sex comedy that embarrasses me because it's very dirty. It really is, and I thought it had to be for what it is. But I'm happy to make something that doesn't make me like nervous around family watching it. I'd be really happy about that, and I really like the script. And there's a number of things that make me happy. But this company, a lot of it. Well, no, I don't think I can say that. But anyway, I think it's the kind of thing that's going to get seen, which makes me really happy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Send me the link to the sex one. I'll be watching.
Sure, yeah. Inside You full movie on YouTube. Yeah, that's.
In fact, I can actually. Well, it doesn't do any good to put a YouTube. It doesn't do any good to put a YouTube link. I'll put the YouTube link on the in the comments.
Yeah, because they like to suppress YouTube links. Yeah. Okay. But I'm watching it.
No, I just meant that like I could put it on screen, but then to see just a series of numbers and to see a series of numbers and letters on screen was not very helpful.
I mean, also InsideYouMovie.com will take you to the link for it too. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, great.
At InsideYouMovie.com.
Yeah. But I noticed, your target is lower budget audiences, and I really do believe that people have to be patient with themselves and the money thing, that things will take longer, and then only spend money when you're ready to. And about Kickstarters too, you can't always, there's so much work, and you don't really have, I don't really think anyone has more than one, maybe two Kickstarters in them that they can do in their lifetime, because you can't just keep tapping out your friends and family and loved ones. So it has to be that one special time when you're really ready to spend that money.
I would definitely agree. Like, I mean, there are some people where Kickstarter is a model that they work with. However, that depends on your energy. I mean, your energy, but it depends on your community and the model. For instance, like I know people who are who write books or who are musicians, and they do Kickstarter over and over again, but that's because they have a community that is willing always to pre-buy their album, and that's totally fine. But I don't think that Kickstarter is sustainable for film, although maybe it is.
Yeah, and the world is changing, and it almost feels like there was an era of it, and I don't know if it makes as much money as it used to. I don't know that. It might still bring in money.
I've actually done some research in Kickstarter recently, and it actually still makes a lot of money. And not only that, now Kickstarter has made it easier for people to make money. For instance, like Kickstarter has I guess like categories that launch for a specific period of time. So like Kickstarter will say, hey, we're going to be promoting indie comics, indie horror comics. So if you've got an indie horror comic that you want to launch at this time, you'll be in the group of comics that we promote. And so, which is smart of them. So then people who have an indie comic are like, oh, let me launch an indie comic. And then Kickstarter does a big campaign where they promote all of the people that are doing indie comic Kickstarters at that time to draw people that you may not normally have look at your campaign to your campaign. So what I'm saying is it's still going strong, and they're being smart about it.
Great.
Yeah, it's totally cool. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for taking time to hang out with us. And I loved all the information. I really want everybody to check out Heather's movie. You can go to InsideYouMovie.com.
Yeah, and then there's a link right there. It just takes you straight to the YouTube link. Or that's the great link to share. And also, thank you, and you're welcome. And I learned a lot about web series.
Yeah, that's cool. And to respond, I'm actually not targeting per se people like with lower budget people. It's just that there's so many gaps in everybody's information that I'm just targeting people. Like, for instance, you have worked on higher budget projects, but you don't know like a lot about, I guess, the web series game.
Right. I don't know Zoom technology and live streaming stuff. Like, that's just not something that I need to do. So I have to figure it out from home now.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, we actually did an episode about live streaming, which was one of our previous episodes, and we talk about this StreamYard, which is what we used to live stream this show, which I think is great. I mean, because like the way that we can edit it live and show videos and make a full show, like I think that if people are interested in that type of thing, like it's definitely something that everybody should know. It doesn't matter about like your income level. It's just like, there's gaps in people's knowledge, and so hopefully we're filling that, especially when it pertains to entertainment. All right, that's it. Thanks a lot, everybody. That is the end of the live stream. Unless we have any questions, we will answer any questions before we sign off. So when are you working at all while you're at home?
Me?
Yeah, Heather. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm in pre-production right now on the movie, which is so great because they paid the director fee the first part of it right before things shut down. I feel so grateful because I had borrowed money for rent the month before this happened, mm-hmm. So I'm okay now. So we're in casting. I mean, we're getting self-tapes and looking at the crew, but the weirdest thing is casting and all that kind of stuff usually centers around avails. Mm-hmm. And it's just a big question mark. When is this going to shoot? So,
yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows 100%. I actually just did casting, although it was really easy because I was casting a voiceover artist, and so voiceover artists often have complete setups at their home. So it really is no different than when there wasn't a quarantine for that particular type of casting. All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll see you again. I'll let you know when this episode comes out. You gave us great information, and I really, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Heather. Roxy, you did great as always.
Thank you.
Your braids are killing it. All right. You can find us at artsacademypodcast.com.